All right, and we are back. Thank you for staying with us. This is Good Morning Kenya, and right now we get into the Women at the Forefront segment. And as always, this is a segment where we bring you women who are doing exemplary well in the fields that they are in. And this mainly is to just work on showing the younger generation that everything is possible, specifically for the lady, that other women are doing it, they have been doing it, and nothing is impossible. And right now I am joined by one Sharon Musyoka. Sharon Musyoka is a leadership coach. She is a marketing and media strategy consultant, as well as the founder, Lead You Global. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today.
It's a pleasure to have you on board today. And our topic of conversation with Sharon is on leading with purpose. That is what we will be wholesomely looking at. So, Sharon, let us begin with just getting to understand from you, when we're talking about leading with purpose. When we talk about leading with purpose, just how does that look like for you? What does it really mean to you when we talk about leading with purpose?
Great, thank you. I'd like to start by unpacking the two terms. Those are two big words, leading and purpose. And so when we are talking about leadership, we are talking about you having been put in a position where you're inspiring, and you're inspiring a group of people. You're leading, you're guiding that group of people towards achieving a certain vision or a goal. Okay? And so as a leader, you're so much judged on results. Yes, you have articulated your vision very well, but do you have the capacity to influence the people that you're leading to achieve that vision? Then secondly, the second word that I would want us to just have a basic understanding, even before we go into how to lead with purpose, is the word purpose. And that is what brings structure to leadership. Because yes, all of us could be leading well. I mean, we could be leading and achieving the results, but at whose expense? And so leading with purpose comes to bring leadership into order, into structure, so that then you're put in a position of leadership. Then you understand that it is more than me just carrying a title, that there are souls that have been given into my responsibility, that the people who've put me into leadership have given me a trust that they believe that I can make their lives better. And so purpose comes to bring structure and responsibility to leadership. So that you just know it's not about the results, but how are these results benefiting the people that we are leading? How are our results of impact, not just to the organizations that we are leading, but the communities that we are working around? How is our leadership influencing the people that are working for us? And the stakeholders are many. And so when you come into leadership, and we are talking about you leading with purpose, it's having all that, the totality of you having to deliver as a leader, but also having people at heart. Purpose. In leading with purpose is about having people at heart. But then I'm sure we'll be going into details about the conversation around purpose, because it's a wide one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
So now I would love to just get to understand, was there a defining moment for you that clarified or classified your purpose when it comes to leadership? Was there a defining moment that changed everything?
Yes. You almost don't know when it is happening. Defining moments find you when you're in your space of duty, when you're in that space of fulfilling what you've been called to do. And so for me, it had been a long journey. And I'm not unique. I guess all of us have been in that journey of wanting to find purpose, wanting to find meaning in life. We are all looking for something more than just chasing a career. We all want something fulfilling. At what point do you get to that point of rest? You know, of saying that I'm living a life that is fulfilling, not just about the money, it's not just about the titles. And so yes, I've also walked that journey. And the last 6 years, I was in board leadership. I did 6 years at community level in board leadership. And before then, I had done 10 years in the corporate world, in advertising media, and also have been in 3 organizations holding leadership positions. But deep down, there was still this thing that is missing. There's still this thing that is lacking. And I wouldn't say that it is one grand thing that you've like arrived, but purpose introduces you to a level of clarity into so many things, not really just one thing. And for me, what I would say is that when I look back at how I got to that level of seeing that clarity, had to touch with an understanding of who I am at a spirit level, who I am at a soul level, and who I am physically. You know, the totality of my being and how I am contributing that totality of my being into not just my life, but into making this world a better place, into contributing into the well-being of humanity. So you ask, why leadership? There could have been so many other things. So I've said that in that journey of being in leadership, in board leadership, working at the corporate level for 10 years, being in other leadership positions, there are things I was learning about leadership. There are things I was observing as a follower. And even when I was leading, there are things that I could see, this is working, this is not working. So there was just a spark around what really leadership can do. In that journey, I saw what you being in leadership and given the responsibility to lead people, how it can destroy the careers of those that you're leading, or how it can build the careers of those that you're leading. In that journey, I've been able to see how you're in leadership, how you can transform a community, how through the small steps and through small actions that we are making every day, you can transform a nation, you know. And so that just shifted something. That in my contribution to humanity, there's just something about leadership that is so critical that we never get to understand. The sensitivity of leadership, of holding lives. When you're given that trust as a leader, you're holding the lives of people in your hands, ideally. So you destroy. You build these lives, you build. And so that for me has certainly just changed the way I see things, the way I do things, in whatever space I find myself.
So what you're saying is, you know, when you're in a leadership position, when you've been appointed as a leader, when you've taken up that, you know, mantle of being a leader in whatever capacity, it is not just about service delivery. You know, it is not just about your strategies in this project or that other project. What you're saying is you also need to be mindful about the people that you're leading. You need to be mindful about their general being. That's what you're saying. For you, that makes a purpose, or rather makes purpose leadership. Being able to knowing your employees, minding about, you know, them, you know, trying to make the environment as non-toxic, if there's a word, as non-toxic as possible. But just how easily can that be done considering you have demands, you have these things to beat, you have that. How possible is that?
That's a very good question, because by the time people are putting you into a leadership position, they have watched you. They have seen that you can actually deliver. And so when people are looking for leaders, we are first looking at your capacity to lead, to influence people to deliver results. At the end of the day, we want the results. But then again, and this is the question you're asking, how do you tie in purpose into you leading people so that then, yes, I am achieving my targets, but not at the expense of other people or the people that I am leading. And so I said that understanding your purpose has so much to do with your spirit, with your soul, and with your body. And they have to work in coordination. And so that when I am only delivering on the results and I am forgetting the people, I am managing. I become a manager.
But not a leader.
But there are areas I am lacking in terms of leadership.
Where do we draw the difference between this one is just a manager, you're a manager, and this one is a leader?
So yes, that's a good question, because then a lot of the times we find ourselves so immersed into tasks and activities, and we confuse that with leadership. When we are put into levels of management, we do so well as managers. And so what I'm saying is that you can be a very good manager. You're very good with tasks, with activities, with results. But when it comes to people, you're on negative. And so why we need leadership into management is because tasks are about people. If you take care of the people, they will take care of the tasks. So then if you're running on the tasks alone and forgetting the people, finally you'll find yourself running alone. The people will stop talking. The people will stop moving, you see. And so leadership is so much about people. The heart, it's like as a leader you must have that heart for people. And you've heard so much about humility and dying to self when it comes to leadership. Why? Because you become a human being. That before me being a CEO, being addressed as a CEO, I'm first addressed as a human being. I feel the pain of other human beings. I know that the people that I am leading, they are people with families. And so that when I am looking at them, I'm just not looking at them as employees. I'm looking at them as fellow human beings with needs, with a desire to grow, with a desire to prosper, to do well in life. And so, because leadership has a lot to do with decisions and strategies and execution, in all that process, in all my planning, I must put people at the center of my strategy. If my strategy is only addressing my results and not the people and the stakeholders around, then it's lacking to some extent. Yes, so that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and still in line with that, would you say that that is lacking? You know, that those kinds of leaders, those kinds of, you know, purpose-driven leaders, those kinds of leaders who also care about the people who are working for them, because as you said, if you take care of the people, then they take care of the tasks that need to be done. So is that lacking? Just from a general overview.
It is a gap, yes. It is a gap. And the reason for me it's so passionate, I'm passionate about it, is because I see a gap that can be addressed. I'm here today to create that awareness that as we lead, let's lead with more than just the title, but with purpose, to understand that they are human beings that we're leading. And so the reason we have that lacking is because the awareness of who we are is still lacking. I go back to an awareness of who we are. as a spirit, when you're leading as a spirit, what is your responsibility as a leader? What is a spirit? Who is a spirit? As a human being who is also a spirit, you know? And that has to track so much back into who is man? Yeah. What is the origin of man? Where is man coming from? And not to bring religion into it, but essentially, yes, we are created in the image of God. And so the godliness of God in us, in leading, must be exemplified, must be seen. God is about seeing justice. God is about seeing the poor taken care of. He's about seeing equality for all human beings. It's only human beings who have classified each other. Like this one is low status. But when it comes to the spirit, the call for us is to look at each other as human beings who are looking for that. So when I'm taking that leadership position, I'm coming to serve another human being that I am connected to by blood. We all share the same blood. We have, no one has black blood. You know, not even racism could separate who we are as human beings. We are spirits first before we are physical beings. And so that understanding is what is lacking. That is what I would say would lacking. That if we could go deeper into our being, of the corners of who we are as spirits, and getting to realize that we are more than just our physical beings, then we would take care of other human beings better. Because then again, we would move away from accumulating. You'll be gone tomorrow.
Yes, that's true,
You know, that understanding of you're here just for a short time. You're here to serve, and after a while, we will all be gone. Then you're accumulating for who? Would rather be better of all of us than for me to live selfishly, just accumulating for myself. Because we lack that understanding that we are spirits in a body that has a timeline, a body that has a time span to expire. So we misuse that part of our being, and that's why that purpose-driven kind of leadership is lacking. And that's why we are here. We are not giving up. We keep, you know, making that, creating that awareness and hoping that people can see that there is more to being in leadership, that they are human beings that we are leading.
In just working towards creating that awareness, maybe what's a question you wish every leader would ask themselves?
In that conversation around leading with purpose, is to understand your why as a leader. My why for being in leadership could be different from your why. Because then again, as human beings, we are different. Your fingerprint is different from mine. That means that I'm in a place of leadership for a different purpose than you. And so for every leader in leadership, they must ask the question of why am I in leadership? Why are these so many people following me? Why did people put me into leadership? Why did people think that I was worth to lead them? Why? You don't put yourself in leadership. You don't wake up and declare yourself a leader. There are people behind you who have given you that trust. And so you must sit and ask those hard questions. That why? Why did they put me into leadership? How would I leave a legacy? How would I make their lives better? If today I was not their leader, what would they look back and celebrate about me? And that's why we still have leaders who lived on purpose, and we still talk about them. The likes of, you know, Wangari Maathai. They lived for a cause bigger than themselves. The likes of Nelson Mandela. The likes of, you know, people who sacrificed their lives, Mahatma Gandhi. People who sacrificed their lives for the betterment of humanity, you know, and those are the kinds of conversations we have to have. At corporate level, at community level, wherever you find yourself put in leadership.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that. Now, how do you translate purpose in your day-to-day decision making? Yeah.
So purpose has a lot to do, as I have said, with why. So it's a question of, and I liked when I came here in the morning and you asked me, what would you want to achieve from this? Yeah, because it's a question I already had asked myself. So it's a good example of what you're asking. I have to ask me, why today are you on Channel 1? You know, why are you on Women on there?
At the forefront.
At the forefront. Why? There could have been so many other people seated there, but why are you there? You see? And that's why I was saying, for me, it's about where you find yourself every day, being able to address your why. And I said today I'm here to create awareness around purpose and leadership. And what purpose does, it's a total game changer to leadership. This world will be a better place if we only had every person who is put in leadership leading with meaning.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. How do you keep purpose alive when business demands, you know, when business just demands, and when business demands rather pull you in different directions?
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Because what we tend to do is to separate purpose from what we are doing. If I'm anchored on my purpose, if my business, if I already understood the why for my business, then it's not taking me away from purpose. As I wake up at 4:30 a.m., I know that I am a farmer. I am feeding the nation. So that business is tied to a why. So it's not taking me away from my why. It's amplifying my impact. That when I wake up very early to come for a morning show here, I'm sure you were here by 6 or whatever time or earlier, but it is not taking away, it's not taking you away from your purpose, because you've already identified your why for being here every morning. And so that business is serving your purpose. So it's not taking you away, it's amplifying. Yeah, so it's serving. Whatever we are doing is serving why we are here, because it's more than ourselves. But if I only woke up today here for a salary, then there are times I'll feel like I lost purpose. I forgot about what I'm supposed to be doing for impact. If I'm only coming here to be seen by the bosses that I was working, then I already lost it. But if I'm here on purpose, I'm here that this organization becomes a bigger and a better organization. We are contributing to the economy. We are contributing to the well-being of this nation. If we are making profits, then we are bringing in more people. So my contribution in this organization is way above my salary. So that understanding is what keeps us anchored on what we are doing. That business, there's no business. I'm on purpose.
Yeah.
I'm on purpose every day, yes.
All right. Is there a way that one can be able to measure whether they are truly leading with purpose? Is there a way one can measure?
Of course, yes. And you don't live like to measure it, but it becomes your drive. It becomes your drive. And it is the lives that you're touching every day. It is the things that you should be doing that you leave behind to commit to a cause that is bigger than yourself. And so it's how many lives are you touching? It could just be your salary. You're paying for 5 That's already a metric to measure how you're living purposefully. You're paying school fees of 5 students. You are using your skill from you're training young journalists, or you're inspiring them. You're changing life. It's so tangible that whatever we are doing, you can say, you can confidently say, and you know and you feel it, that I'm touching people in this area, in this other area. It is measurable, yes. Yeah, it is.
It's measurable. You'll
Yes.
just get to know from your day-to-day, you will know that I'm actually leading with purpose.
Yes.
And I'm actually in my purpose.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are 5 businesses that have grown simply because you had a good chat, or you mentored those startups into doing well. So as they thrive, you can see, this is my contribution. I'm fulfilling purpose through skill. And I should have mentioned that when it comes to purpose, it's in different levels. It could be, it is your skill that you're using for impact. It could be your talent that you're using for impact. It could be your resources that you're using for impact. And so it ties so much into the totality of who we are and how we are using all that for the benefit of other human beings, for the benefit of our families, of communities. So it's not just one thing. Yeah, you could be good at so many other things, and so all those things are for you to create. They're for use, they're for service. Yeah, to serve other human beings, and leadership is one of them. That not everyone finds themselves into positions of leadership, not everyone. And so that is one of the resources and an asset that you have when you're in leadership, that you can use for good, for transformation. But how many times do we let that slip away? And you know, yes, we made the monies, yes, we made the connections and the networks, but how many lives did we change? How many people? Yeah, how many people can we say, I grew this one? She was an intern when she came in. She's now a CEO somewhere. You know, things that you can track back to, you know, what you contributed into.
Yeah. Just from this conversation and from getting to listen to you and how you speak passionately about this, you know, it is confirming and lauding the phrase that leadership is service. When you are appointed as a leader, you are appointed as a servant. That is what I'm getting from this conversation, that you are meant to serve these people as a leader, not just to be there and maybe oversee. Yes, you're overseeing things, but you're also there as a servant as well. What would you say about, you know, that phrase, that servant leadership? When we talk about servant leadership, like what do you make of it?
You actually can't separate, as you're saying, as you rightfully said it, you can't separate purpose from servant leadership. When it comes to serving with, leading with purpose, you can't separate, as you put it rightfully. So when you come into leadership with that understanding already, you're there to serve the needs of the people. Your heart is moved for the people. So yes, there is an aspect of management. And I said that leaders will be judged at the end of the day. When you're in leadership, you will be evaluated on results. But why people are important to this conversation is because now you've become of a different nature, that you understand that tasks are not run by animals. They're run by human beings with needs. And so at the back of your mind, I need results, but I have people who need to deliver on those results. And I need to take care of their needs also. When I take care of their needs, they will take care of the business.
Get it very loudly and clearly. Now I want us to wind up this conversation, and we'll wind it up by you just giving us your final remarks on this topic, that is leading with purpose.
Wow, so I would say that my passion is around just seeing good leadership. I deeply want to see good leadership because I've seen what it can do, what transformation it can make, not just to people but to nations and to the world. And so good leadership starts with self-leadership. And so we cannot have a conversation around good leadership without first addressing self-leadership. And self-leadership is about conquering yourself. Coming to a place of understanding of who you are, over and above the other things that define you, the titles and all those other things. Conquering those things and getting to understand a very stable and strong awareness of who you are at core. Because then an understanding of who you are is what brings stability to you as a leader. You're not competing with anyone. You're not thrown away emotionally. You're self-led. And so even your teams trust you, and that's part of the influence. So good leadership on its own starts with good self-leadership. And that self-leadership starts with a self-awareness. I am not so-and-so, I am Sharon Musyoka. I am a unique being with certain talents, gifts, and resources at my disposal for this time, for this season, to make a difference in this world. And so that alone, that understanding alone now, when I am put into a leadership position, not just now to lead myself, but to lead other people, that understanding becomes my drive. How do I transform the lives of these people with the resources, the skills, the talents that are at my disposal?
All right.
Yeah, so that's my call to all the leaders out there. And leading is hard. Leading is hard. You're leading human beings with perceptions, with different needs. But leadership starts when we become just human beings.
Get you on that.
When we feel each other. Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much, Sharon, for gracing our Women at the Forefront segment today. Thank you for being our woman at the forefront on the show today. I'm sure that you've been able to inspire one or two young ladies who are watching the show this morning. So thank you very much for your time. This is where we get to end this particular conversation, but Good Morning Kenya gets to continue. Victor Olo is coming right up next, so don't go too far.